Hi, hello, and welcome to a new soft-spoken video. It's so good to have you back here. Welcome or welcome back. I am really inspired by Hayden and Adonia, Ethel Kane. I adore her videos and I've been binging them, as in her vlogs. I of course equally love her music videos, but I just love how monotone her voice is in those videos and how unintentionally ASMR she sounds. I think she clearly labeled a video as ASMR. It must have been her the second one of her art book tour video. Anywho, today we are here to talk about some great films, in my opinion. I have skipped my Letterboxd recaps for the months of July and August. So I'm just here to tell you about, I have my laptop over here, to tell you about some very cool films that I saw in the last 2 months and that I rated a 4 or a 5 on Letterboxd. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. I think the first film I would like to talk about is Baghead. It is a 2008 film directed by the Duplass brothers. I'm not too familiar with the Duplass brothers as a duo. I am familiar with Mark Duplass because he did Creep. Is that right? Or maybe he didn't direct Creep, but he definitely starred in it. I see. Okay, it was directed by somebody else. Anyhow, this is such a early 2000 film. It was filmed on a potato, and it is a found footage style film, although it's not aiming to be found footage in any way. And it follows a group of friends that decided to stay at a cabin in the woods after they watched a film at a small film festival, and they thought it was of questionable quality. And so one of them says, hey, if that guy can make a film, we can make a film that is so much better, you know. So they go into this cabin in the woods. We have a young Greta Gerwig. She's actually the reason why I'm wearing little clips in my hair. And yeah, as you can imagine, a cabin in the woods, something happens, and yeah, there's even a bit of a plot twist. but it's mainly just like an easy indie, just low production, small production film, just really fun, really well acted. Not scary necessarily, but still fairly good at building up some type of tension. Just really fun. It just feels like, in the best way possible, a film that your friends made for a school project. Again, in the best way possible. And again, it's a great piece of work. It's not a joke. It's also incredibly meta. And you'll see why if you get to watch it. But yeah, no iPhones in sight, just flip phones and a dream. So that was Baghead. I gave it a 4. Yeah, I stand by that. The next is a 5. It is Raw by, I'll try and read her name, but bear with me. Julia Ducournau. She's the director of Detain. And if I'm not mistaken, Raw was her first feature film. Raw is, you know how there is a famous iceberg of disturbing films, and so, you know, films that are considered disturbing in mainstream culture are actually at the top. That is a conversation in itself, as in talking about the iceberg is a conversation in itself, because at the bottom there's actually a lot of snuff films and just horrible, depraved things that I don't think belong in the same realms as disturbing films, which, you know, we can discuss the ethics of those as well, but one is trying to be art, the other one is violence for the sake of it. Anyway, so I would say Raw fits at the top, at the tip of the iceberg, or maybe the second, it depends. To me, it was fairly disturbing, but again, I know that there's worse and I have seen worse. But to your average Joe, your average friend that says, oh, I can't watch horror films, this is not a horror film, but it's gross and disturbing. So, but enough with my introduction. Let me tell you what it is, what it's about. So it's about Justine, which is a 16-year-old girl. Oh, she's only 16. I thought she was a bit older because she starts veterinary school. And so, yeah, she starts vet school. She goes to this college situation, has dorms and everything, so she has to get away from her family. And she has grown up vegetarian. And let's just say her experiences will awaken a hunger in her that has no limits. And you can imagine, or maybe not, but you can imagine where things, you can imagine where things escalate to. What I will say is that those are not even the sections or images that I found disturbing. There is one section, and I'm just gonna vaguely describe it just in case you want to watch it. Let me just say, one is right after she wakes up. So she's in bed and her skin is not well. And that really freaked me out. And then there's another scene under the blanket. Nothing weird or sexual, by the way. But she's on the blanket, and again, I found that scene quite disturbing, and it just moved something in me. So I really, really loved it. Gore and body horror aside, it is just simply a solid film with a great plot, with great dialogue, with great acting, and it's just like, it's like the most horrifying coming of age film you can imagine. So that was Raw. Let's see, the next film I would like to tell you about. Yeah, I want to tell you about Friendship. This is a recent film. It came out last year. It is directed by Andrew DeYoung, which I don't know anything about. Who I know about from my boyfriend introducing me to him is Tim Robinson. And the counterpart to Tim Robinson in this film is Paul Rudd. This is a very weird film. It's one of those films about white American suburbia, how disconnected we are, how in a lot of ways it reminded me of A Serious Man, although it's very different. It's a very different film, but it's that same kind of guy can't catch a break. The difference is that in A Serious Man, you empathize with the protagonist. In this one, you kind of don't, because Tim Robinson is, well, Tim Robinson. Like, he kind of plays almost like a toned down version of his characters from his skits, if you're at all familiar with him. I find him funny to a point. After a while, it gets too chaotic and too loud in his skits, and I don't find that funny anymore. That being said, although this film has a lot of scenes that are funny or that you could find funny, for most of the time I felt a sense of not even cringe, like haha, but this is very uncomfortable. So in Friendship, Tim Robinson is a bit of a loser, and he accidentally, I'd say, befriends Paul Rudd. And, you know, he clearly has a fascination and I don't know, he looks up to Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd has it figured out. Tim Robinson thinks. But things will escalate, things will go south, and things will get very weird very quickly and very, again, uncomfortable. Things get extremely uncomfortable. Yeah. The tagline on Letterboxd is "Men shouldn't have friends." That's another big topic, just like the male loneliness epidemic. It's one of those films that is like weird and, you know, with cringe scenes and a bit much and a bit, but also kind of funny, but also makes you think, you know. So I give it a 4. I stand by it. I really liked it. Yeah. Next, I finally watched the amazing But I'm a Cheerleader, starring the iconic Natasha Lyonne. The fact that she's not allegedly gay in real life, it's insane. An atrocity. But in But I'm a Cheerleader, you have Natasha Lyonne's character Megan, which is an all-American girl. She's a good Christian girl. She's a cheerleader. She has, you know, a stable family. She's going steady with the quarterback. You know, she's just like the perfect quintessential American teenager. White American teenager. But her family and the people around her have some concerns about her. And so following an intervention, she gets sent to a conversion camp because people have some serious doubts about her heterosexuality. Now, things will happen and yeah, there's some plot, but the main thing about this film is that it's very odd in tone. It's very weird, even just like the colors, the settings, it's almost cartoonesque. It is really funny, really funny. And for a 1999 film, I don't know, 1999 is not the 1800s, but kind of the whole premise of this film is even Megan herself hasn't admitted to herself that she's a lesbian because she's a cheerleader. She is following the standard. She does fit femininity and all those things, and so she, being a lesbian, is not even on her radar, even though she is having thoughts about girls. She doesn't have the language or the references to understand that being a lesbian can also look like her. Being gay doesn't have a look. And that's really at the core of this film. The female characters in the camp are much more explored than the male ones. But for what I can tell, all characters, all these gay teenagers are represented by a variety of different people with different looks, different ethnic backgrounds. And so, yeah, for a film that is so funny and so silly, I just loved how good of a representation of queerness. Yeah, it did a great job at representing queerness. Again, in different gay people come in different shapes and forms and colors. So that was great. And yeah, just mainly really funny. As RuPaul plays, he plays the guy. I don't know, because the camp has a female section and a male section, and so he's the, what do you call it, like the camp counselor for the boys. And it's so funny because he wears a t-shirt that says like being gay is a sin or something along those lines. Sorry, I just heard something falling downstairs or something. Okay, let's see, I could talk about so many more films. I'm going to talk about, I think I'll end by mentioning a recent film, just one that can be in conversation right now. I went to the cinema in Italy, actually, and I saw Weapons, and I really liked it. I gave it 4 because I really liked it, but I guess I wasn't blown away. And I think the problem with that is that this film had so much hype, rightfully so, but sometimes too much hype can mess up your expectations. So you think you're going to be completely blown away, where in reality you just had a great time, and that's also fine. Now, Weapons is by Zach Cregger, which did Barbarian, which I loved. So I kind of already knew that I was most likely going to like Weapons. And this was so good. Kind of like Barbarian, once you get the reveal, that's where we get into the camp and the craziness and the silliness, because for the most part, like the first part of the film, or like the 2/3 of the film, it's quite a mystery. It's really cool. It's told through different POVs, which I love. I love a film that repeats scenes but from a different perspective, because those are really building blocks to learning a bit more every time. And so it really kept me in my chair. Like, I need to know where this is going. Why are these children missing? Where are they? In case you don't know anything about Weapons, Weapons is about a town, a city, a town, where one night at 2:17 in the morning, all of the children from a elementary school classroom, but it was at night, so everybody was in their own homes. All the children all the children but one left their house at 2:17 and ran into the night. And nobody could find them for the longest time. So, pretty scary. We have a traumatized teacher where her whole class has run away, but one child, all the parents hate her. They think she has something to do with it. One of my main takeaways from this film is how we can't trust the police and the people that should protect us. I would say there's a strong anti-police sentiment in this film, but you'll figure it out for yourself. The horror elements are good. The body horror is good. A little bit of it that there is. It's mainly this mystery, this build up, this what is going on. Similarly to the first half of Barbarian, and even a little bit of the second section where we just don't know what the hell is happening. And we find these weird rooms and we're like, what is happening? As is true for most films, the build-up is so much more thrilling than figuring out who's the killer, who is the presence, the demon, the ghost, whatever. So, I could keep talking about for a bit longer. I've watched many more amazing films in the last 2 months, but I think I'm gonna stop right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this new pace. I think I'm gonna put in the title soft-spoken but also slow-spoken. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening or a calm morning or productive afternoon, and I'll see you very, very soon.